Hello there and welcome to the show. I hope everybody liked the new intro. Firstly, I'd like to thank those that shared my weather report. A lot of people are becoming educated on geoengineering, which is very reassuring to see. But on to today's show. Our guest is Jessica Jones, host of Into the Portal on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, and she also hosts Remote Viewing Investigations on Spaced Out Radio. It's a pleasure to have her on the show, so let's cross over to that interview now. Hi Jessica, thank you very much for appearing on the show. You offer a wealth of information that the viewers can benefit from on your channel and a lot of the interviews you do. How are you going there today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you, Jeff? It's so great to be here.
Managing okay, that's good to hear. So the paranormal and cryptozoology has always intrigued me. Where did all of your research begin?
Well, I guess it began when I was a kid. You know, when I was small, I used to check out books from my library that were about ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoot and all sorts of paranormal stuff. And I guess that's kind of where it began. And I had a fascination with fortune tellers and black holes and anything that had to do with the universe and the solar system. So you know, it started off when I was really young, but as I got to be an older, or a young adult, my fascination with Bigfoot kind of just landed at my feet one day. I was invited out to an expedition with a bunch of guys who are Bigfoot field researchers. After I went to a presentation one night and listened to them talk, I was very curious. I had never had an experience with a Sasquatch. And I wanted to know if they were real. And the gentlemen that I heard their presentation, they were very convincing. And they believed that they had really encountered Bigfoot and had all this wonderful evidence. And they were professional trackers. And were all, most of them were former military and law enforcement kind of guys and wildlife biologists. And they invited me out. And so, of course, what better way to learn than trial by fire? And I went out with a bunch of strange men into the woods one weekend. And it was the best decision I ever made. And I've been a Bigfoot field researcher ever since. That's been 11 years since I started doing Bigfoot field research.
Wow, that's quite a history. And you have to keep an open mind with certain topics as well. But when you have people stepping forward with a lot of credibility, they come from professional occupations, that makes the whole subject and more topic. They have more trust, don't they, that they build with
Yes.
a lot of the viewers. And
Well, yeah.
it makes the whole topic seem more genuine, doesn't it?
It does. And actually, I worked in government myself. So I kept this very quiet for many years because I was an executive director of a state agency here in Georgia. I live in the United States, in Georgia near Atlanta. And I ran an agency for women for the state of Georgia. And so I didn't want to be looked at like I was crazy. I might be we're all a little crazy, right? But I kept it kind of under wraps that I was out there doing Bigfoot field research for a long time. But the people that I was in the field with were very credible people. And that makes a huge difference. We're not just a bunch of, country folks out in the woods. And I'm a country folk. Trust me, I'm a country person. But we just weren't a bunch of, what do you call it? Like those TV shows they kind of portray Bigfoot field researchers as a bunch of dumb people, rednecks and stuff. And, it's really an interesting portrayal when, compared to the people that I go out in the field with. They're very, very educated, and I think that's actually how most of the field is. I think that they're portrayed wrong.
There's a government propaganda and the programming that they put through. Yeah. They run a smear campaign on anybody that's out in the field doing research or going and looking and going on these adventures that tries to discredit the whole movement. And there's some people with professional backgrounds, they do have sightings, but they remain silent. out of fear of being judged or ridiculed, especially in these small communities as well. But thanks to people like yourself speaking out about it, that takes away some of the stigma, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Yeah, it really does. And it's, you know, and I, for whatever reason, I feel like I've been called to start speaking about this in public. And I think it's because it's time for the world to wake up in a lot of ways. And what better way to do that than to have some normal everyday people talk about our experiences. And, you know, I have a show, I have a couple of shows that I do. And I've been able to bring on my research friends who normally would not go on any kind of show or podcast to talk about their research, but they trust me and they know that I'm a researcher. And so they've been able to come on my show, and we've really been able to put a lot of real evidence out there, and just to wake people up to the fact that there are cryptids, and there is a whole other reality than this 3D matrix that we're all living in, and we've been taught to live in these little tiny boxes, and, you know, but I've never lived in a box, Jeff. I've always been one who has been wide open. I love to experience everything. And, you know, and through my experiences, maybe I can help to raise the consciousness of this planet, and just to help people come to terms with the fact that, you know, Bigfoot is real, Sasquatch, Yowie, they're real. And it's not, this reality is not what we've been taught.
Yeah, I believe that's the case as well. And it's not just campfire stories. There's a lot more to it than that. I've had on Sage Accord from Expedition Bigfoot. He's appeared on this show before. And I've also had someone from Australia here as well, Attila Caldi, Search for Australia's Bigfoot. And when you listen to some of the testimonies and how they recount some of their research, it definitely gives it a lot of merit. So it's wonderful to hear more people speaking out. Sometimes they've taken fiber samples and hair samples back to labs, and there's a lot that goes into it, isn't there?
Absolutely. You know, in my team, we actually started off as super scientific, you know, and collecting data samples and things like that. But then we've kind of gone to more of an experiencer type of team. Okay. And so now we are experiencing, we don't go out with so much equipment, you know, and I'm a member of several different teams. Okay. Every team is different, but yeah, it's, right now I don't take as much equipment out into the field as I used to, because I feel like I get a lot more experience and a lot more interaction with the Sasquatch if I don't take all the equipment and I don't have all the devices and the recording devices and the Geiger counters and the EMF detectors and all that kind of stuff. I'm more on a level now of not wanting to prove this to anybody. It doesn't, that's not important to me anymore. And I don't think it ever was, actually. But it's more of an experience. And you know, if I'm able to experience it and share my story and people will listen, that's great. But I'm not here to prove it.
No, it's very entertaining and educational as well. And you have to let the viewers make their own opinion and be their own judge. But yes, it's very interesting, and some of the technology and the equipment they take out. And there's also another frightening aspect to this. Over there you have Mount Shasta, and there's a lot of missing hikers and campers. And some people draw a link that could possibly be Sasquatch or some sort of mythical beast could be responsible for some of the disappearances, and people that have ended up miles away from where they first went missing. There's a lot of strange, abnormal anomalies that are associated with some of these disappearances, isn't there?
Absolutely. And we have clusters of missing people all over the United States. And I'm sure it's in Australia as well, and all over the world. And what's interesting is that my team, we have several areas that we research of super high strangeness. And I'm not sure if your audience is familiar with this, but there's a place called Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, here in the US. Yes. And a lot of all of our research areas are just like Skinwalker Ranch. We have the same type of activity at these places, and they're all classified, you know, undisclosed locations. We don't tell people about our research areas because of the integrity of our research. But I can promise you that we have documented things that could explain where these missing people are going, actually. And I'm not sure, it's actually absolutely a possibility that Bigfoot is taking away people and kidnapping people. That's a possibility. But my team has documented something that's even more interesting, in my opinion, which we would consider to be a portal. Okay, a portal where something showed up in the field one night while we were out in this place that we call the meadow, and it was not seen with anyone's own eyes, but you could see it with the FLIR and the thermal. And it was a big cube, a big box, and it was an anomalous occurrence. And it was something that had never been in this open field before. And two of my teammates were sent over to check it out. And as they walked up to it, their heat signatures completely disappeared. Okay, the gentlemen have explained, both of them said that it was like walking into a black velvet dark curtain, and the temperature changed and the environment changed. Okay, all the while they're being recorded. We actually have this documented. They're being recorded disappearing, and this is an open field. They should have not, their heat signature should never have disappeared. And they had enough wherewithal to turn around and walk out. Both of them are former military, okay? And one of them is law enforcement for many years. They knew that something was off. And so they said they couldn't see the stars anymore. They lost radio contact. We all carry ham CB radios with us out in the field. So they turned around and walked out, and their heat signatures reappeared. Now the cube shrunk down to a smaller size, and it moved, and then it disappeared. Okay, so is this what people are encountering out in the woods? Are they walking into these things, and are they disappearing off the face of this earth? Where are they going? What is this? We don't know. We don't know. But I can tell you that's not the first time and the only time we've experienced that.
That's an amazing story. And I've heard of similar testimonies around that Skinwalker Ranch where they have witnessed some type of portal open, and whether it was some type of interdimensional entity coming through and then going back, are people going missing through these portals? Because yes, that would definitely explain a lot, especially when you have experienced hikers and people that are familiar with the land. They know the geography of the locations, and it would be extremely unusual for them to go missing. Even with the technology nowadays, it's hard to go missing and stay missing with the GPS and everything like that. Right. So yes, is it a portal that it might seem far-fetched for some, but when you start hearing it from multiple groups and recounts of this, it definitely looks like a possibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't have another way to describe it other than saying it's a portal. Now, my team is also, we are all trained in remote viewing. So I am a remote viewer. I've been training and doing a lot of remote viewing for at least the past 10 years. Okay. And as a team, we're able to remote view these incidents. Okay. And a lot of things that we remote view, I'm not really able to talk about, but I can say we did remote view that. I didn't know what I was remote viewing at the time though, because I do blind targets. Okay. So, but I do know that it was really odd. And I can tell you that to this day, I still question, now, is this alien technology or is it our government? Is this something is this man-made, human-made, or is it off planet, And so, and I've extensively researched this and had shows about it on my show, Into the Portal, on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I brought multiple teammates on and people from all over that are experts. Well, I guess none of us are really experts, but people who are very knowledgeable in the ET field and UFO field and the Sasquatch field, you name it. I've had them on my shows, and we've talked about this, and we've examined everything from, my friend Barry Littleton. He and I both spoke at Camp Disclosure last year. And that's where I came out of the closet as a Bigfoot researcher, by the way. Mm-hmm. And was right. just last year in August. And so, but he was given his presentation, and I saw that he had been abducted most of his life and had close contact with ETs, and he had pictures of the insides of these UFOs and these crafts that he had experienced that he put up on the screen. And there was a black box, a cube, just like the one that we encountered in the field, inside one of these spacecrafts. And so I had him on my show, and we looked into every angle of this cube phenomenon. And it was like, from could it be a power generator to a Stargate, to some kind of portal, teleportation device, we don't know. I am not an expert on any of this, but it's getting the information out there. And, people, I may not know what it is, but someone else could have a little bit more information than me, and we could put our minds together and we could try to figure this out.
Yeah, that's how it should be, when people bring their own skill sets to the table and work together to achieve some of the same goals. Now, with your abilities such as being a psychic, extrasensory perception, remote viewing, do you feel that helps you and aids you in this search for some of the activity, some of these beasts, and locating them? Do you feel that this has helped you?
Yeah, it does. And that's part of the reason my entire team is trained in remote viewing, because we are all very switched on psychically. And that helps you in every aspect of paranormal research, in everyday life. It helps you in everything to pick up on subtleties and to pick up on any kind of energy shifts, or just to be aware, and when you are more awake psychically, you're very less likely to be controlled. Okay, if you know what I mean. Not to get political or anything, but I'm just saying it's to have a world full of more switched on humans would be way better than what we're at right now. Okay, and so that's why I feel like that maybe that's part of the reason that I feel like I've been activated to talk about this, is to try to wake people up and to awaken to everyone's psychic abilities, because we're all psychic and we're all able to have extraordinary human enhanced capabilities. Okay. And yes, it is the number one biggest, best tool in my toolbox when I'm out in the field doing research, because I am attuned to everything around me, to nature. And just the simple act of being in nature is like nothing else in this world. I mean, it's just being attuned to nature is everything. Not only is it a reset button for the human soul, it's just, you're able to see and be more aware, and to see without your eyes, and that's what our world needs right now.
It most certainly does. And a very powerful aspect to your channel as well, how you fulfill the role as a life coach and provide very helpful and motivational, inspirational content that a lot of people really need right now, especially here in Victoria. This was and still is the home of the New World Order, and a lot of people are overcoming trauma from police brutality, and we've really been up against all the elements. So a lot of people need that information, some of the helpful and very positive vibes that you send through, overcoming trauma, living your best life, taking control. These are subjects that you focus on as well, don't you?
It is. Yeah. Thank you. That is so kind of you to say that. And, I do this out of just from the bottom of my heart. I honestly just want to help people, because I've been through a lot and I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life. And so, just being able to transmute all of the sad things that I've been through, and, I've been through a lot of loss and betrayals and just being in a really dark place. And so being able to experience that and to still see the good in the world, is just a very powerful thing. And if I can share what I've been through with other people, and like I say, I'm not an expert on anything, but if I can just help someone, one person, my goal is to help one person a day. And if I can use, tapping into my inner wisdom and trying to heal myself, because the best thing we can do in this world right now is to heal ourselves and to be happy. Because once we're healed and we're happy, we're able to be like a tuning fork okay, to everyone around us and to the entire world. And you know, it's like each one teach one. And you know, one act of kindness can put a ripple in the universe, you know, and just change the day for the better for so many people all over the planet. So, you know, I don't do it for me or for I just do it to try to help somebody, and because I love it, and plus I have a lot of energy that I need to direct somewhere. So the best way is to get on YouTube and make a couple of videos, you know, just to try to brighten somebody's day.
Absolutely. And it's very rewarding when you can offer that experience and that advice to people that they can benefit from straight away. And there's a lot of healing modalities, a lot of spirituality, and offering information on meditation and how to, you know, control your breathing and not get too caught up in the situation. And yeah, helping people have a level head about certain environments they're in. I think that's equally as important as some of the cryptozoology as well. It's very dynamic, your channel, and you should be very proud of that.
Thank you. Oh, that is so sweet of you. I appreciate that. You know, I think I take it for granted sometimes because, you know, I'm just constantly putting content out just because, you know, and I'm not scared to get out of my comfort zone and put myself out there and, you know, try new things. You know, I actually just started a new show to kind of explore remote viewing a little bit. And I think it's kind of interesting to kind of put that out there into the general public because it's kind of it got a stigma to it, you know, and people with, you know, psychic abilities and all that kind of stuff. It's people for a long time have kind of looked down on that and thought it was weird or, you know, just not normal, you know, and apparently I've realized I'm just not a normal person. So
but no, that's a definitely a credible subject right there, remote viewing. I've had remote viewers on the show, and the government even ran an operation where they recruited people with abilities such as yours, and they took on the role as like psychic spies as well, didn't they? So this is a tried and true technique, a very rare gift that some like yourselves have, isn't it?
Well, it's actually it's a rare gift to be really good at it, I guess, but anyone can do it, Jeff. And so it's a skill that can be taught. Now, is everyone going to be great at it? Maybe not. However, we're all able to do this, and it's something that I love to do. And so I do it a lot. And the more you do it, the better you get. Okay, it's just like any kind of muscle that you work out. If you go to the gym, if you go to the gym every day and lift weights, you're going to be buff, right? And you're going to be able to lift a lot of weight. Well, I do remote viewing a lot, and so I've gotten pretty good at it. You know, but anyone can do it. Now, as far as it being something that's psychic, yes, I am psychic, and you know, I am very in tune with the other realms and whatnot. And I've seen ghosts since I was a kid. And I mean, I've had contact with ETs, and I've you know, I go out in the woods and talk to Sasquatch, you know, so dealing with telepathy and things like that. But anybody can do it, Jeff, anybody. Okay. So it's not something that's exclusive to people who are born psychic. It's something that anyone can do.
Yes, it's something that you really have to hone on those skills, isn't it? So you said you've had various encounters with different entities, and this started as a child, did it?
It did. It did. It started off when I was a kid. You know, I believe that I don't even remember everything that I experienced. You know, a lot of times when we're kids, we'll experience pass on loved ones and maybe even ETs, and we shut that all down because we are taught, especially going into the public school system, like I was, to that stuff's weird, you know, and it's almost like we're shamed into living in a fear-based society, you know, and you know, you gotta conform, you know, and so I think that a lot of my experiences I probably shut down, and I don't even remember, but I do know that from a very young age I was very switched on, and it wasn't until I was a teenager I remember seeing ghosts and things that weren't supposed to be there. And as a young adult, that's when I started going out and doing Bigfoot field research. And the first time I went out in the field doing Bigfoot research, I had a UFO encounter, an ET contact kind of thing going on. And so I was encouraged my entire team was encouraged to start studying abductions, alien abductions. And I did that. I started reading books like The Threat and Communion and Secret Life. And lo and behold, I started waking up at night in my bedroom and there were aliens in my bedroom. Okay. So
it could have been some type of manifestation or something
Absolutely.
along those lines. You visualize it and bring it into reality. But that's incredible. You're searching for one paranormal beast and then you come across a whole different experience that you weren't expecting on encountering. That's amazing, isn't it? And you're in a privileged position there. There's a lot of people that are well versed in these subjects, and there's paranormal conferences, and you have a lot of people speaking out. And that's a very important factor as well, a wealth of information that you're privy to, isn't it?
Absolutely. It was unexpected, and honestly, it happened twice. And the first time it happened, wake up and it's just like having an experience with ghosts. I've for many years had experiences with spirits. I'd wake up at night and there'd be people standing by my bed, and they would be solid and look like normal humans, and they would be talking to me telepathically. Their mouths would never move. Okay. But I was being told things and they were talking to me and I absolutely understood it, but I remember their mouths not moving. Well, let's fast forward to, 10 years ago when I started having the ET contact. I would wake up and there would be little aliens in my bedroom, or big ones. There were two different instances, and they were talking to me, and I don't even know if they had a mouth. Okay. But they were talking to me telepathically because they didn't have a mouth that was moving. So of course my analytical mind starts thinking, well, were those ghosts I was seeing as a young adult ETs? I don't know. The more that I'm learning and the more I experience, the less I know. It's
remarkable that you have memory of it. For some people, abductees, they have to be placed into a hypnotic trance for them to be able to remember such experiences, and in which some are absolutely frightening as well. And the person is literally reduced to tears when they're remembering such events. It seems like some of your experiences weren't as traumatic as some. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, honestly, I'm inoculated. Okay. I like to call it inoculated. I have been in the field doing hands-on, boots on the ground research for many years. And so not a lot of things scare me anymore. Okay. I get more scared by crazy humans than I do paranormal.
And there's a lot of them around.
Oh, trust me, I know. So I'm inoculated to it. Nothing is too weird for me at this point in my life. So no, when I see things, I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. Am I seeing that? Yeah. Okay. That's a big alien by my bed. Okay. And usually I get knocked out and I go right back to sleep. So, it's not by my doing. If I could, I would jump up and probably fight it or run or do something. But, I think they have an ability to make us go to sleep and do what they're going to do too. I have no idea. I don't know what happens when we encounter those things, 100%. But yeah, I've been inoculated to it. Now, there are a lot of people who are not inoculated to this phenomenon. And so it would be terrifying to the average human. Okay.
Yes, and some people have even reported having visits from like the Men in Black or some government agencies trying to step in, interfere, perhaps confiscate any footage that was taken of anything that was unusual. There's also that role that they take on as well. They want people to be intimidated when it comes to speaking out. But when there's more brave people like yourselves talking about these subjects, it brings more credibility to it. And then that gives other people courage to step up and speak about what they've seen, doesn't it? So it's valuable work.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I didn't do this on purpose. I'm not talking about this just because I had a want and a need to do this. I just kind of, it was put out here. Okay. I was asked to speak at a conference and I did. And then I went on podcasts and here I am. And now I have 3 different shows that I'm doing right now. I'm about to be hosting it on Spaced Out Radio starting in May with a show about cryptids too. So that's coming up. But it comes from a very authentic, genuine place because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And I'll admit that to anyone. I'm just here. I've had some experiences and I'll share it with people. But like I said earlier, I'm not here to prove anything to anyone. But I have been through some things and I've seen some weird crap. Okay. So, and I know that it's very traumatizing to people who experience Sasquatch and experience Dogman and Yowies and ghosts and ETs. And I get contacted. I've been contacted several times from people who think their children are being abducted by aliens, and have pictures of it. And I get sent things all the time asking for my help, and the best thing I can do is to try to help and send energetic healing to people. And, but it's just something that we're all experiencing. A lot of people experience it, whether they remember it or not. Okay.
Yeah, most certainly. So, and what sort of feedback have you received from the viewers?
I have had nothing but positive feedback so far. Okay. Now, occasionally someone will get upset because I said Bigfoot and not Sasquatch. Things like little nitpicky stuff that to me, it is what it is, and I am honestly kind of shocked that I haven't had more pushback than I have so far. But, coming from a very genuine and authentic place, people can relate, and I can relate to other people. And I just put what I know out there, and I try to let people tell their stories on my show, into the portal. I try to just bring people on who are down to earth, boots on the ground researchers who have really experienced traumatic things. And so through our experiences, we can talk about this and help people, and to wake up people as well.
Well, I urge all the viewers to tune in to your broadcasts, very educational, enlightening, and some of the stories that they will hear absolutely mind-blowing. Is there any closing statements you'd like to leave? I'll put all the information in the description so people can follow up and benefit from what you have to offer there. Anything that you'd like to leave?
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And, I just think that my advice to everyone watching is get out of your comfort zone. Go do something that scares the heck out of you at least once a year, just to, when someone has a Bigfoot sighting, that really, busts you out of your 3D dimensional way of thinking and living. And it's a great way to have your consciousness elevated quite a bit. And, just to live life, like try to live your life to the fullest every day, in any way you can. And just have an open mind, keep an open mind and surround yourself with people who have open minds, and don't be scared to cut out things that aren't serving you anymore in your life. And just to live your best life and to travel light. Okay. Travel light, cut the fat is what we call it, trim all the fat out of your life. Just move through life with the basic necessities and have fun and, get out of your comfort zone and quit caring what people think about you. Okay.
That's beautiful advice. Thank you very much. And if you own a ranch or a property out there, you might want to consider putting in some trail cameras because you never know what's out there. So right. It's been an absolute pleasure today. Continued success with all you're doing. Thanks once again. Thank you,
Jeff. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, that does it for today's show. We have many more guests booked, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the We Are Change talk show, where we expose the paranormal and many other mysterious topics. Thank you.